Okay, welcome back. If you made it through there, these get a little bit easier, most think. Maybe not yet, but eventually. Okay, so bisecting a segment, let's do that. So these were the 3 steps in the book. Make an arc from point A, or whatever your angle is, and make sure it's open more than half the length. Okay, so you go to one end of the segment you want to cut in half, and it says just make sure it's open more than halfway. Okay, so, and I'm going to make an arc. Now in the book they make a little bit of arc up top and a little bit on the bottom. It doesn't matter. You can make this whole arc, or you can make part of it and go back and erase this part so it looks more like the book. Either way, you did the step. Make an arc, okay? So I did step 1, make an arc from point A, making sure it's open more than half the length. Step 2, make another arc from the other end of the line, trying to keep the compass the same as before. Okay, so I already opened it that amount, and I need to keep it the same. Beautiful. Okay, now the important part's this part up here where they intersect. So if you notice in the book, they don't really have this part showing. It's because that part's not important. I'm trying to find the place where the 2 intersect. Okay, last step, make the intersection points, calling it EF, and then connect them. Okay, so we'll call this E and F, and then we connect them. Definitely feels quite a bit easier. Now, sorry, it's hard to do this and hold a camera at the same time, but I'm going to give it a try. Okay, there it is. It looks like this line, the one I just made, this one right here, it definitely looks like this length and this length are equal now. So it definitely cut it in half. It also looks like this, it cut it in half at a 90-degree angle. So if I kind of look at a 90-degree angle, these look like it cut it in half at a 90-degree angle. That's called perpendicular, when it cuts it at a 90-degree angle. Or anything that meets something else at a 90-degree angle. I a lot of times use this little symbol. Beautiful. Now we can do it again, and as I said before, you can do this with a paper clip. You make an arc, you go on this side, you make another arc, and you just connect where those arcs meet. It's totally okay to do it with a compass as well. Just make sure you go halfway, go a little more than halfway, or the lines won't meet. Okay, so we make an arc from one side, that's step 1. We make an arc from the other side, step 2. Okay, make an arc, make an arc. Name these intersection points EF. And then just connect the points. Job done. Mission accomplished. Beautiful. Now notice there, it definitely does look like this line cut this in half. So VW was this long, now it's this half and this half. It also did it at a 90-degree angle. So we did it. We bisected it. Love it. Now, it said copy, so I kind of skipped that part. I could have copied this line over here and then bisected it, but it was easier just to do it right on top of there. So I'm kind of breaking the rules. I'm going to break the rules again because I get to make them. I'm the teacher. I'm not going to copy this thing over and then cut it in half. I'm just going to cut this thing in half because there's plenty of room there to do that, okay? So, angle bisector. Some classes, we didn't get this far, some did, so let's talk about it. So, angle bisector in the book says, make an arc from the angle, point A, making sure to touch both rays. Then name the intersections B and C. Okay, if you want to write down all of these steps, you can, or we'll continue to talk about them in class. Not necessary, but feel free to pause the video and jot these down. Okay, so just focusing on this, making an arc from that point and make sure I touch both rays. Okay, so my angle's not called point A though, it's K, but that's okay. So make an arc from my angle and just make sure it touches both. Okay. Now it says label those please, B and C. So I made an arc from my angle and I labeled the intersection points B and C. Now I'm ready for step 2. Okay, place the compass at B and make an arc right of the point. Okay, so now it's saying, and actually in the book it says you could adjust, you could keep this the same. You may have to adjust this though. Maybe I should make another note of that. What I'm wanting to do is I need to make an intersection out here to the right. So in this instance, I think I want to open it a little bit more. It's kind of a tip. And I want to make an arc out to the right here. Okay, and the reason why I say the right is if I kind of look at this as an open mouth, this would be out to the right. Okay, so make an arc out to the right, and then I want to do it from this other point. Make an arc from the other point. So step 2 says place the compass at point B and make an arc. Then keeping the compass the same openness, do the same thing again from C. Notice we're done. We got one more step. Step 3, name that intersection D and go ahead and use a straight edge to draw AD. Okay, so we'll see that. We said name the intersection D as in dog, and then go ahead and draw the ray AD. Now, this one was named K, not A, but this is the same thing. From the angle you started with, use your straight edge and draw this, and we'll see how this ended up. I think this is going to be good. Okay. Ooh. So it really does look like we cut this in half. This angle right here looks equal in measurement to this brown angle right here. Those both look equal. So what have I done? I cut this bigger angle in half. Pretty neat. Now let's do it again. This one might be even more interesting because it's bigger. So I'm thinking to cut it in half, it's going to come right about there. So I'm going to follow the same steps. Step 1, all it was to make an arc from point A or from your angle. Making sure to touch both rays. So I got to make an arc and touch that ray and keep going to get all the way around to this other arc. Beautiful. Okay. We name that, wherever it touches, we name that B and C. Awesome. And now off to the right. So I kind of have to just turn it so it looks like the mouth is open. And so off to the right, I kind of open this up a little bit. And from B, I want to make a hash mark or an arc. And from C, I want to make an arc. And if they didn't connect, maybe adjust your compass, make it a little more open or a little more closed. And again, just make an arc, making sure it's the same distance. Make an arc from C, and then keep it this distance, make an arc from B, or vice versa. Make an arc from B, and then without adjusting, make an arc from C. Last step, we call that intersection point D. And we just connect that from the original point in the angle to our intersection. And bada boom, bada bing, it really does look like we have cut that angle in half. Pretty cool. This angle looks about the same size as that angle. We've cut it in half. All right, now let's look at this example. Kind of interesting. So let's just read it through. Where is the intersection of the perpendicular bisector of GF? Okay, so they're asking me to do a perpendicular bisector of GF. That's a lot of words, but let's just highlight GF so we know which one we're talking about. And when I bisect a line, that's all I had to do, bisect that line. So it looks like all I need to do is make an arc from one end, make an arc from the other end, and connect where those lines meet. So that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, now the one tip was I got to make sure it's open at least half. So some kids like to open it half and then squeak it open a little bit more. Okay, so we make an arc, and then on the other end, we make an arc. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to call it, for whatever reason, we called these EF, but I already have an EF. So I'm just going to call this A and B. The intersection points, I'm going to call AB. And last step, just like in these, right? We made an arc, we identified the points and drew a line between the points. So I'm going to do that. Draw a line between the points. And that looks like it's perpendicular, and it also looks like it's bisecting it. This segment now looks the same length as that segment. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Now it's saying, what is the intersection of the perpendicular bisector and the angle bisector of E? Oh boy, this is a challenge. This one I'm going to call a bonus question too, but I like it. I like it, so I'm going to talk about it. Now they want me to cut angle E in half. So, yeah, cut. Bisect means cut in half. So I'm going to cut that angle in half. Remembering back to here, there's a lot going on in the picture, but I'm going to just work with it. Make an arc. So step one was we made an arc from the angle we want to bisect. So make an arc. We called that B and C. Oops, I already used those letters. So I'm just going to call that. There's D too, so I'm just going to call that, I don't know, K and L. So I want to cut this angle in half. So step one, make an arc, right? Step two, off to the right. We're going to make two arcs, but I already have this angle's pointing to the left. So I don't think it matters. I can go over here to the left, and so I'm going to open it up really big and make an arc out here to the left from one point and make an arc out here to the left from the other point, making sure they meet. You might even have to do it over again until it's pretty obvious that like, oh, those did meet. They met at a point way off to the left because this time my angle's kind of pointed to the left, okay? So if you're left-handed, that's okay too. So H-I-J-K-L, I'm gonna call that M. Now I've done it. That's all you have to do to make a line. And now I'm gonna connect my angle and my point, and wow, if you got this one done, you deserve bonus because this one was a doozy. What is the intersection of that line? So where this line, the bisector, and the angle bisector meet is right there. I'm gonna call that point in. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.